watching closely?
Hey guys, welcome to Midnight Jabber. This is Vishrat,
This is Sukrit.
and today we're going to discuss Christopher Nolan's The Prestige, which came out in 2006. Okay, Sukrit, so how about you give us a quick synopsis of the movie?
Okay, so the movie is about the quest for being the better magician between two magicians, Robert Angier and Alfred Borden, and these two start small. They're working for an engineer who is Michael Caine, who for after many of his other movies hasn't used the name Alfred in this movie, and they basically start small, and after an incident where Alfred Borden kills Robert Angier's wife, they move their separate paths while still competing with each other, and they both do terrible things in this world. And the film is set in the late 1800s, and it is again by Christopher Nolan, so it's obviously beautifully directed. The setting is outstanding. The story keeps you at your toes for the whole 2 hours of the movie, and the story begins with Alfred Borden being convicted of Robert Angier's murder, and he goes to prison for that, and that is where the story starts from. Now, the way the story proceeds is that Alfred Borden gets Robert Angier's diary in prison. Now, this diary Robert Angier has written while deciphering Alfred Borden's diary, which he procured earlier in their lives. I know it can be a bit confusing, but once we get into the movie in a bit detail, you guys will get the flow.
Yeah, I know the movie's quite confusing, and to get the movie straight, one has to actually see the movie more than once to understand it fully, and every time you see it, you will get to know something new about the movie. So just for reference sake, who is Borden, and who is the other Borden, the brother of Borden, and who is Angier? I mean, it's kind of confusing between the characters because it's kind of like Face-Off confusing or Inception confusing.
Yeah, it's definitely like Face-Off confusing, like that.
Yeah.
That I can understand. Let's just
But
set,
like 100
let's just
times face-off confusing because it's just weird confusing. So just set the reference straight. Like
okay. So let's just for future references throughout the podcast, Alfred Borden is the birth father of Jess, and the original person who fell in love with Sarah.
Yeah. So
Fallon is the one who fell in love with Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and these are the two references basically.
So the only people that know that there are two Christian Bales in the movie is the two Christian Bales.
Yes, the two Christian Bales.
And,
let's just reference them as Borden and Fallon from now on.
Okay. Alright, so let's discuss with the movie now.
Okay. What did you think of the movie?
Definitely, it was a really good movie to watch. The 2 hours that I spent on this movie were worthwhile, and I would love to see this movie again. You know, just to understand it a bit more. But it's a movie that I can see again. On the other hand, this movie was kind of a mindfuck for me because it's just so confusing. You really have to pay attention to every scene in the movie, or you will lose the track of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's like any other Chris Nolan movie where you have to be completely attentive, listen to everything they're saying, listen to everything that's happening on screen, and then maybe you will understand the movie in the first time.
So there are 3 steps to magic.
Yes. I love how Michael Caine, they open with Michael Caine's voice in the beginning, and like there are 3 steps to magic. The
pledge,
the turn, and the prestige.
And the prestige. So you're a bit of a magician, right? I mean, you do
Yeah,
card tricks and stuff like that.
yeah,
So, and you've seen this movie before. You've seen it multiple times now, I think.
yeah.
So, whenever you're doing the magic stuff, do you think these three rules apply to your kind of magic, to regular magic?
Um, I mean, when I started doing like magic, I mean, I started doing it as a hobby, and then I started performing at, in between friends, and then in larger groups and everything. But you know, what I've realized is you never think of those three steps. Once you're so used to doing it, you never it just comes naturally. Now you know how many people do is, even I've done it a couple of times, you can go to YouTube and watch videos of magic tricks and everything. Now those magic tricks give you steps. So step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this, step 4, do this. Now somewhere in those steps are hidden the pledge, the tone, and the prestige, and that is everything that matters. I mean, those steps are every. If even one step goes wrong in your trick, you're done for. And those are the steps. So the pledge, the tone, and the prestige. And I mean, if
And
you're a
also, I mean,
magician,
yeah, sorry to cut you over there, but I mean, if you just follow the steps, it doesn't mean that you're following the three rules. I mean, it's how you present it, right?
it's
As a
more
lot of the
it's
audience.
more a presentation art, definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, when I was watching the movie for the first time, I was like, so in every movie, there's kind of a positive role and kind of a negative role with every character. So in this movie, first of all, when I was watching it, and I saw that Angier's wife gets killed, or in between of a magic show,
Yes.
and it's kind of because of
Borden.
Borden. So, and I feel that he did it intentionally, or he just wanted to do it, or he wanted to test this thing out, or something, or whatever. But he kind of became a negative character in the movie, right? Because of that
Yeah,
scene.
at that point of time,
At that point of time,
yeah.
yeah. And then I thought, okay, I was feeling bad for this Hugh Jackman guy, but no. And then Hugh Jackman wants to get on top of him, and he wants to do something bad. He'll shoot him in the hand, and he does that.
No, his plan was not to shoot him in the hand. His plan was to shoot
Was to
him,
kill
was to kill him.
Yeah, but Fallon saved him.
Fallon saves him.
But anyways, so he did that, and then I'm like, what the hell, dude? You're the bad guy in this film. Christian Bale, yeah. And then Christian Bale does something. Then I'm feeling sad for Hugh Jackman again, and then back and forth. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah,
Decide on this.
actually, that's, I think, the mystery of the story. One of the mysteries of the story. So first you feel that Robert Angier is the hero and Borden is going to be the villain. But what the story is basically telling you is that circumstances can change the position of people. So what one person does affects the other to make him the villain, and then what he does affects the other to make him the villain. And that's how the scales just keep on tipping from one end to the other, and that's the big mystery of the story, that what is happening. Another thing, did you notice all the magic tricks, like the simple ones like the bird cages and everything, are told throughout the story, but the big ones, the transported man, the real transported man, everything is only told in the last 4 minutes of the movie. Everything.
Yeah. And coming back to that earlier point about that back and forth thing, I think that really complements the rivalry part of the movie between the two characters.
Yeah, I mean, there were times in the movie where I was like, oh my god, what the fuck again, what are you going to do now, but I have to give it to Chris Nolan and even Jonathan Nolan,
Yeah.
and the two writers, basically.
Yeah.
The way the movie has been written, like the story and how it's been presented, is outstanding.
Oh, yeah.
uh there's
Like
just
from the screenplay to the musical score, everything was just set in the time right, and everything was fantastic.
everything. Even
Yeah.
did you notice towards the end, in the last 5 minutes, you still don't know who is the one who's going to get hanged. Is it Borden or is it Fallon?
Yeah.
And, but
I mean,
then,
I mean,
but
yeah.
then
I mean,
he
that's what I
says it.
liked about the film. I mean, in every movie there's a time where you actually know that it's over and this is the climax and nothing's gonna happen after this. It's just gonna settle down and the movie's gonna end. But in this one, it's just back and forth till the end, like till the last minute of the film, and that's what the best part of the movie was.
Towards the end, they show that Borden is telling Fallon that we both leave him alone. We both step off, let him get his thing, and we're
Yeah,
done now. But Fallon decides to go because if you've seen the movie and if you can spot where it's Borden, where he's Fallon, you will understand that Fallon always has this urge to be the better magician, more than Borden, more than Borden.
how do you know that? Because I really didn't, could distinguish between the two brothers
I think that's
until the point that they revealed it out.
I think that's the idea. But if you watch the movie, that's what I'm saying. You have to watch the movie enough times to know where he's Fallon, where he's not.
All
Like
right.
you remember that scene where they're in this restaurant and Fallon is there, Borden is there, Olivia is there, and Sarah is there.
Yeah.
So over there, Christian Bale is Fallon. You'd realize that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
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 See, like that, that was very out there. But there are subtle moments in the movie where you can tell, and like, for if you see the movie the first time and you don't know the suspense that these two are twins, the next time when you watch the movie and every time Sarah says that today it's true and today it's not, that is a cue for you to understand the story from there of who's doing what, and you will then understand that Fallon has this urge a bit more than Warden to be the better magician. But coming back to what I was saying earlier, like Warden tells him that we both leave him alone, we both don't do anything, and actually Fallon goes there, and Fallon is the one who's caught, and Fallon is the one who's convicted for the murder, and Fallon is also, by the way, the reason that Sarah killed herself.
Yeah.
And the moment where he just apologizes for everything and Fallon says goodbye, and that was, I think, the best moment for me in the movie, where they give up who is Borden and who is Fallon, and we know that Borden is going to be with his daughter. I think that was just the best thing for me.
Yeah. Okay, so one of the hot questions out there is that Borden and Fallon are brothers, right? That's what
Yeah.
we all assume, and that's what we know from the movie. But are they really brothers, or is it that Borden went to Tesla and got his clone, named him Fallon, and they are not actually brothers; they're just clones, and that's why the key to the diary is Tesla. Why is it Tesla in the first place? I mean,
Because
why does the key to the cipher has to be Tesla? What does Borden have to do with Tesla?
that's the thing. The key was just a name. He didn't care about it. It was just a plan to confuse Robert Anjou. You remember in the beginning of the movie when after the first time his Robert Anjou's wife, she does the whole drowning in the water tank act, and then she comes out and
Yeah.
they're standing in the back and they're talking,
Mhm.
and at that point John and Robert are talking to Borden,
Yeah.
and he mentions his greatest trick ever, and Couture in this very sarcastic way says that okay, will you sell me your secret?
Yeah.
And Borden says, no, I'm not going to do it. And Angier says that every trick can be duplicated, and Borden says, no, it can't. So that just goes to show that he
Yeah.
always had this trick.
That's a good point, actually.
The
So
only-
that's one way to answer this. That in the movie that he had this idea of that masterpiece, that trick,
Always.
all along the movie from the
Yes.
beginning to the end. So
Maybe not just the movie, from like when
Yeah.
they were kids, maybe whenever they started doing magic.
yeah, and maybe the counter answer that would be, what if Borden knew about Tesla before Angio, and then Borden attended Tesla, and remember when Angio visited Tesla and he said that don't worry about the money, I'll pay you the money and just make the machine, and he's like, I've already started on the machine. What if he started on the machine when Borden came to him earlier telling about his idea? telling
I'll
about his masterpiece.
I will tell you
But
what
then,
happens there.
you know what? Wait, first I'll tell you what I think
Yeah.
about it.
Sorry, go
Remember
on.
that emotional scene that goes between Fallon and Borden when one of them, when Borden's in the prison,
Yes.
where he's talking to Fallon and telling him live the life for both of us and blah
Yeah.
and blah
Yeah.
blah,
That
and
last
just in
scene. That
the end
last scene
throws
between
his
them.
rubber ball to him.
Yes. The last scene.
If they were, I feel, if they were clones, that emotional feeling and that emotional touch and that emotional scene altogether wouldn't have existed.
Would not be there. Yes.
Yeah, so I think that scene tells us that they're definitely brothers. And
Even more so than that.
yeah,
More so than that. So Borden always had this trick in his mind that we're twins and we're gonna do it. Even if he didn't, he just got Tesla to make him a machine, which did nothing basically. Because you remember how he, like we've said that he, like, because he already mentions in the beginning of the movie that I have this trick and I'm not gonna sell it and it can't be duplicated. He just
Yeah.
builds this machine to create an illusion for the audience that this machine transports me from here to here in a matter of microseconds, which is the illusion. The machine doesn't do anything at all. But Angier thinks, and remember how Cutter tells Angier that the only way this trick can be done is if he's using a double, and Angier refuses to agree to that, and he says it's too simple, it can't be done. So I think what Angier's thought process is that it's the machine which is transporting him from one place to another in that little amount of time.
yeah,
And so he that is Angier's thinking, okay, which is actually not happening. Then he goes to Tesla and he tells Tesla, you build this machine, I want to be transported, which is what they've been trying all along. But what they realize is that machine is just making copies.
yeah. It's not transporting, but is actually creating clones of
It's
things in the
creating
machine.
copies, and I think that's how the whole story moves. That Angier's thought process is that he thinks that the machine is transporting, which is why the name of the act is also the Transported Man, by the way.
Yeah.
Because it's the machine which is transporting him from one place to another,
Yeah.
which is not actually happening.
Yeah. And also coming back to Tesla, it's funny how the movie shows that Edison is such a gangster in the movie and he's sending his men after Tesla, and in the world of science he's such a like a serious point out there, and like I discovered the electricity light bulb and everything. You don't come in my field.
I actually didn't know. I mean, for all we know, it's speculation and just fantasy. But I mean, I was just thinking about this. What if these guys were like the king of mafias, like Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, and Nikola Tesla?
Seventh grade science book, physics book, whatever. We're reading about Edison and all of this stuff, and we're thinking, wow, like these guys were geniuses and stuff like that. And then they're showing in this movie that there's such gangsters to get their name published in such books and everything.
Which, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, So what do we know? But it's a funny kind of thing in the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
how they show
it's
it.
interesting how they touched upon that aspect of history.
And also when Tesla was building the machine, I initially thought that the machine was just for show. I mean, it just produces that sparks and that electricity all together just for show. And there's a trapdoor that eventually takes the magician inside the trapdoor, and then he has to run somewhere else and then come out from there, and that's how the magic happens. But now I get it why that machine costs a fortune, because it actually creates a clone or transports one person or anything from one place to the other.
I mean, let's just let's go over the whole story in steps. Okay, so the first thing,
story is just so ambiguous, and I think that's the beauty of the movie. And the movies which have these ambiguity elements in the film are just too fun to discuss. I mean, because everyone has their own theory about it.
I mean, it's just like placing an argument out there in the world for people to discuss about. It's just that, It's amazing how the story unfolds. Like, So the way it starts is Borden and Angio are together. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, then they both are on the road to becoming magicians and everything. Uh, Borden is, I don't know for what reason, what 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 is going on in his head. He is obsessed with the Langford double knot and decides to tie Andrew's wife's hand in that knot,
Yeah.
which unfortunately ends up killing his wife.
Yeah.
Um, Andrew is devastated. Borden falls in love with Sarah, uh, and then Borden comes up with the bullet catch act, and then Andrew goes and sabotages this bullet catch act. He goes there to shoot Borden,
Yeah.
and then Fallon is there in time to save Borden's life, but not his two fingers. And Borden then takes revenge by spoiling the bird act
Yeah.
by killing the bird, which I didn't even feel bad for Angio. I just felt bad for Kato because he was the genius who designed the whole thing to not kill the bird, you know. And Borden just pissed on it, you know.
Yeah.
Then what does Borden do after that?
Wait, I mean, and Angie was like, "Oh, this little birdie lives! Wow, this is the best act ever!" And then Borden comes in like, "Oh, fuck this shit! I'm gonna kill the bird anyways."
I think after that, then Borden does the transported man,
Yeah.
and then
Oh wait, yeah. Who? Borden? Yeah, Borden does the transported
yes,
act, and Angie
Borden.
gets inspired by that.
Borden does the transported act. Then he sends Olivia to spy on Borden. Then he steals his diary. Once Angier steals his diary, Borden then comes to his show and ruins his transported man.
Yeah, by manipulating that drunken
Drunk
Angio.
Angier.
Do you know that the drunken Angio kind of sounded like Jack Sparrow?
Yeah, you're
That
right.
was kinda
You're
weird.
right.
I mean, I mean,
He
wait.
sounded like Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. After that, Angier then they kidnap Fallon,
yeah.
and then Borden comes and gives him the key Tesla, and then he goes to America, to Colorado Springs, meets with Tesla, gets this whole machine just to frame Borden for his murder.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the extent he's going to. That is, I mean, that rivalry. Oh God.
So, what do you basically liked about the movie? Which aspect of the movie did you like, or which scene in particular did you like about the movie?
There are a lot of things I liked in the movie. Um, Firstly, I liked how the movie is told in retrospect. Like it starts like usually if you go like if there's a movie in which somebody is going back to their past and recollecting things, it's just done once. But over here, it's done like in three steps. So Lord Corlaw, then Angier after his leg being broken and everything,
Yeah.
and then before that where when these two started as magicians. So there are these three levels which I really liked, and each of them is discussed all together like simultaneously, and the story is brought up to one final end. It's like an iceberg. It starts with this big broad base with three different stories, and all three of them just merge into one tip altogether. And that's one thing that I really liked. Another thing I really liked about the movie was the whole secrets and the suspense, and how even the audience is kept guessing what is the magic trick, what is the transported man, what is the real transported man.
Yeah.
So that whole aspect, like like we discussed earlier, I really liked how they put this twist on the scientists.
Yeah.
And of course, like every other Chris Nolan movie, the music completely complements everything that is going on in the
Oh
movie.
yeah. Yeah. Did you notice that sound in the end? When that machine went through its process. In the
Yeah.
end, there's this particular sound when the thing copies itself or clones itself.
Yeah,
There's
I know.
this weird kind of sound like
Yeah.
it was like So I was watching the movie with the headphones the entire time, and whenever that machine scene came on, I was like, "Oh shit! I need to reduce the volume now." The one scene I think I particularly liked in the movie was so when Borden is in the prison and he's reading Angio's diary, and he gets to this line where he is reading that now you will be reading this diary in the prison and I'm outside. Ha
Yeah,
ha.
and
I'm the king, you're the loser. Boo hoo. Something like that. So he reads that. And it's kind of a troll face from Angio's side to Borden, and Borden's like, shit.
that's because
Now
Borden.
one of us won't live. Oh shit, poor Fallon. One of us has to die now because he's thinking maybe somehow I'll not be proven guilty, and I'll somehow get out of prison, and both of us will live, and blah blah blah. I can take care of my daughter. You can go
That's
hang
not
out with
his daughter.
Olivia.
That's not his daughter.
Jess is Borden's daughter.
Yeah, but Borden is not the one in jail.
Borden's the one in jail.
No, it's Fallon who's in jail.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's why we discussed, right? So at the end, like the last scene between Borden and Fallon, he says, "I never meant to kill Sarah,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
I
Fallon's
never,
the one who's in jail. Yeah.
and I'm sorry I didn't listen to you." So Fallon
yeah.
is the one in jail. But why Angio does this is a reason, because you remember when Angio was reading his diary and Borden has written in his diary, Tesla was merely a keyword and not the secret to my trick.
Yeah.
And like, so I mean, even in their diaries they have revenge going on. Do you see that? Like tit for tat is going on even in the diaries. And
You said tit for that. Anyways, so there's this comment outside which is running around which says so if Tesla was low on funds, or even if Angio wanted something, why didn't he quit his magic life, or why didn't Tesla just put some money instead of a hat or a magician in the machine and just clone that money out and be the richest guy in the world?
because he didn't know it was gonna work. What if the machine had burnt the money then?
But he learned eventually that the hat thing, it clones the machine basically clones whatever is in the machine, so he can clone anything he wants. He can have $1 billion, no wait, $2 billion, no wait, $4 billion, no wait, $8 billion. See, I know my multiplication right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I guess you're right, but
I get it for Angie because
Angie, you're calling
Yeah.
him Angie now.
yeah, Angie the magician, because he wanted to prove himself a greater magician.
That's the thing. That's what I've been trying to say all along. Even when I first saw the movie the first day, and I've seen it numerous times after that, and every time I've just said it's amazing how Borden is obsessed with magic, Angior is obsessed with magic, Tesla is obsessed with science. They don't care about anything else in the world. You know, all they care about is magic, and that's
Yeah.
science and that whole aspect of their lives. I mean, plus, I mean, it's a good idea. See, this is what the world has come to today. In 2014, if somebody was given a machine which replicated things, people would put money in there.
Yeah,
But
stuff
back
like
in
money and
1888 or
galaxies.
1889, people would put themselves in the machine. This is
Yeah.
what the world has come to today.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was this perfect dialogue out there in the movie, which I think Gutter says that this machine does the real magic, and
Oh no, he said the dialogue was that
Yeah.
oh no, this wasn't built by a magician, it was
Yeah.
built by a wizard who does real magic which only magicians pretend to do.
yeah, that was a really
That
good
was
line.
one good line.
Yeah, and after listening to that, and after just thinking about that, so these scientists like Edison and Tesla and these researchers out there, they are the real magicians, and you kind of think that these magicians who just pretend to use science as magic and just present it out there to the audience and give them such an illusion. Are just phonies
Yeah.
out there. The real people working behind it are Tesla. Not the Tesla Motors, but the Tesla guy.
I mean, I didn't. The first time I saw the movie, I didn't expect them to bring Tesla and Thomas Edison into the story.
Why not?
That is because when you sit down a movie, how
Like
often?
magic is always related to science.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing, right? As somebody who was just a passion, just going to watch a movie, you never think. And I'd read reviews and everything, and everybody just talked about magicians and everything. And while going into the movie, I never thought for just even 1 second that there was going to be a character based on Tesla or a character based on
Yeah.
Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
And that was one of the greatest things about the movie. Like, I mean, personally, I liked that, how they brought
Yeah.
those two characters into, like, they could
Yeah.
have, for all we know, they could have just hired some engineer to build them this machine. But no, they decided to bring in Tesla and Thomas Edison.
Yeah,
You know?
because it was the late 1800s, and that's the time where these great people lived, and in that time they invented light and stuff like that. So I mean, engineers at that time, I don't know, without electricity and without all of the technological stuff, what would have they done? But considering it was the late 1800s, people like Tesla and Edison are alive, so why not use them? So I mean, and this movie is really influenced by the novel, right?
Yeah, a lot, yes.
Yeah, so the Prestige, and so it had to have some influence, and it extracts from the book for the film.
Yeah. Also, I was just researching a while back online, and turns out Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla actually had a rivalry going on.
Why not? Definitely. I mean, even if you read about them and think they were just jolly good times out there, and everyone helped in the world of science. It was a world of collaboration, blah and blah. But everyone is fighting for the next big thing. Everyone is getting their names up for Nobel prizes and other awards and getting published and stuff, and everyone wants to be discovered and discover the next big thing.
It's not just that. I'll tell you, like, the main reason for their rivalry. Thomas Edison invented DC current,
Yeah.
or discovered DC current, and Nikola Tesla worked with alternating current. And that was, I think, the foundation of that feud, where Edison said DC current is superior, and, you know,
But what they didn't realize is that eventually, if they worked together,
what they could have done.
AC/DC, the band, could have been formed much, much earlier. And their collaboration of AC and DC would have given them rock in the 1800s. Trust me on that.
I think we've moved far from the movie now. Let's
Yeah.
get back to the movie.
But coming back to the movie, I mean, the movie is a definite watch. It's a really good movie for the people who really like mystery and thrill in movies, and it's a movie which will blow your mind every 15 to 20 minutes.
Even though we've given out most of the story out here.
Yeah, I mean, but you guys know, if you've seen the movie, then it's one of the movies which will blow your mind. And blow your mind multiple times, and it is also one of those movies which personally I can see again and again, you know.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've seen it like at least 6 to 7 times now,
Yeah,
and I never get bored while watching the movie.
yeah, and this is the movie, this is the kind of movie out there which you can watch again and
And
get something new out of it,
no,
learn
if-
something new and discover something new in the movie which you hadn't been able to discover in the earlier watches.
If the story doesn't interest you, if the characters don't interest you, if magic doesn't interest you, if mysteries don't interest you, if secrets don't interest you, if science doesn't interest you, watch it for Scarlett Johansson.
Okay, with that word said, It's time to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yep. Midnight Jabber signing off. And for all your viewers out there, you can comment, subscribe, let us know what do you think about the podcast, and log on to the website and check out more reviews.
Yeah, just let us know what you guys think. We're open to any kind of criticism, good or bad. Just subscribe, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook.
Yeah, and comment down below whatever is left out. And
if we haven't discussed anything, please
and
discuss it in the
if you think that some
section.
topic has to be discussed, and put it down on the discussion panel on the website and let others know.
Yeah.
All right, Midnight Jabber signing off.